That's me.
Okay.
Tweet
Hello.
the show.
Hello.
Anthony, wait a minute.
The call number is the number at the top to get him to call in.
We got some young entrepreneurs in the studio.
That's perfect, actually. That's
Okay.
So, Anthony, you said our bit rate is what?
4.5.
Bit rate is 4.5?
45.
So
Anything
who are
else I
these-
need to tell them?
G.22.
Our bit rate is 45 and comma G.22.
Our bit rate is 4.5. Connection G.22. It's a connection rated G.22.
Connection G.22.
Yeah, they want to connect at G.22. Bit rate 4.5.
Our connection rate G.
Telling you, they're more likely gonna have a problem with that, Armstrong, because if the guy had a problem reconnecting with you, so more than likely they're gonna have a problem because we had that old Comrex.
It's right there. Yeah, deal with that one.
Okay. All right. We're talking entrepreneurship, Renee.
Okay. And who's in the studio?
Charlton, please introduce your guests in the studio since you're producing this show.
Oh.
Today, we
And make
have-
sure I get that over in documentation so I can put it on demand.
Sir, yes,
Yeah,
sir.
they need the guests for demand. I assume he would have sent that in, Mr. Organized.
What? You told me just give my guests anyway. In studio, we have Alex Alperstein. He is a young real estate professional with a focus on commercial real estate. He is from Washington, D.C. He also enjoys other entrepreneurial endeavors.
Make it brief, Charlton. We're about to go live. We can deal with that live.
Okay. And we also have Anthony Hampton. He is also from this area. His concentration is in event production and promotion. He is also a diverse entrepreneur. He currently is focused on marketing and
Let them talk to the mic to make sure Anthony, the quality of their voice is good. Why don't you tell Renee about yourself? Yeah.
How are you, Renee?
Hi.
How do I
And who
say-
is this, Alex?
This is Alex Alperstein,
Hi, Alex. Nice to meet you.
and you as well. So, like Charlton said, I'm a local guy. Went to school around here, grew up around here. Currently working at a.
What microphone is he on?
I'm having a little hard time
Yes, well,
hearing you.
Oh, he's on mic 3.
You need to turn that up, man.
How we doing now?
Better.
That better?
Yeah, go ahead.
All
Go
right.
ahead. Get closer.
That good?
Good.
Yep.
Okay.
You got to
I'll just-
kiss it.
Yeah, well.
Get
we're there. I'm
get close
there.
to kiss it, but definitely you wanna speak up. You want to turn up his headphones too, so it can fool him to talk louder.
Okay, keep talking.
I like that. That sounds like a good trick.
How does he sound
Hey,
now?
that's a
Okay,
trick.
good.
Works.
Okay, good. You got to stay in that position.
You
Okay.
got it.
All right.
Where's the other?
Anthony, you need to talk in the mic.
Hey, how's it going?
Not that. No, you got to talk. Anybody can say
What's
how
your
it's
name?
going. You got to have a conversation.
Okay. Hey, Renee. I'm Anthony Hampton. I'm from Washington, D.C. as well. I actually do marketing and event marketing.
Turn his headphones up. He started off good and
but
then
he
dwindled
he's
away.
gotten soft.
Yeah, I have one ear on. I mean, it's only
One has nothing to do with the other. Absolutely. Just show him where the sign is from the talking to, because that's the problem. You got to talk in there. Talk over it like this. Go ahead.
you gotta.
Go ahead.
I speak to.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
so I'm from Washington, D.C. as well. I do event marketing, event planning. I also do consulting for multi-platinum artists as well as other musicians, such as David Corey, just signed a deal with Coca-Cola and FIFA World Cup. And I do consulting for him. I also have done events with,
Good. We got you. Was that good, guys?
Okay.
Anthony sounds way more interesting than myself.
Yep, we're coming up. Here we go.
We're live.
And you're up.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another very special edition of the Armstrong Williams Show. Renee Garfinger's here every Tuesday. Renee, are you in the house?
You bet I am, and ready to go.
Oh, ready to go. Now, what do you know about the entrepreneur class? You know, it's a special class. It's an elite class. It's a phenomenal class. It's a class that just about everybody would like to be a member of because it's exclusively ownership. Self proprietorship is what it is. But you know something about that, don't you, Renee?
Yes, I do. I work for myself, and I think that it's working for the best boss, but also for the most demanding boss. So entrepreneurship has special benefits, but also special challenges, and I think that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Matthew Kleitz, do you know anything about the challenges of the entrepreneur class?
A little bit. I would say I'm about a 20% entrepreneur at this point, but looking to expand my
20.
20. That's what I'm saying, Anthony. 20. But no, you wait. We're going to introduce you properly tonight. But anyhow, here on the Armstrong Williams Show, here's what we like to do. Charlton, Mr. CW himself, has put this show together. He's been claiming that he was going to do it for the last 2 months, but with a little pressure and heat from all directions, he stepped up to the plate tonight, and he has assembled. Oh, applause for the mice.
All right.
Applause for the mice. And so he assembled this show. He put it together. And so, we're proud of our young aspiring entrepreneur, Mr. Aviated Thoughts himself. But audience, what we want you to do at 1-866-801-8255, we really want entrepreneurs to call in to talk about the challenges, the rewards, and just what it takes to be a part of the entrepreneur class. I don't think that many people realize this, that 92% of people in this country who start out as entrepreneurs, who put a shingle on their door and decide I'm going to become my own boss, fail. Only about 7-8% of entrepreneurs succeed in America. 7-8%. And when you ask yourself why is that number so high? And then you think about this. 1% of the people in this country controls the majority of the wealth, and only about 7-8% are worth $1 million or more. And the majority of that class is the entrepreneur class. What is so unique? What is so special? What is it that they have? What is their drive? What is their mindset? What is their routine? Do they get up early in the morning? Do they go to bed early at night? What do they focus on? What do they read? What motivates them? What do they learn from setbacks? And what do they learn from challenges every day in their lives? How do they reinvent themselves? So what we want you to do is be a part of this broadcast tonight, which Charlton has put together on celebrating the challenges, the rewards of the entrepreneur class. Imagine what America would look like today if we did not have our entrepreneurs who provide the majority of the jobs in this country. Almost 80% from small business owners. Imagine, and when I speak of small business owners, we talk about corporations with 5 or less employees. So tonight, we want you to join the conversation. Charlton, we hear you breathing. 1-866-801-8255 and be a part of the entrepreneur class to share your experience. So Charlton, introduce your guests. And tell us about your experiences.
I'll introduce myself. They're grown men. They can introduce themselves. But again, my name is Charlton.
At least before you get started, tell us who your guests are.
Well, they're Anthony Hampton. He is a young entrepreneur who has pretty much ventured into different industries, mainly with a background and discipline of marketing. He's done event promotion and production as well as talent management. So he's pretty well versed and understands certain principles in different industries reign true in others. My other guest today is Alex Alperstein. He is a gentleman also from this area. He is more so focused on commercial real estate, but also uses his keen business prowess to seek out other entrepreneurial endeavors to be a part of. So I'm excited to have them aboard. These are also friends and peers of mine who I look to bounce ideas off of. So it's good to have them here today.
And your story? Oh, now Matthew, one of the reasons why I always like having Matthew on is one of the first things that I initiated when I started the business about 22 years ago. The first hire that I made was an accountant, a bookkeeper. And the accountant and bookkeeper that I hired 22 years ago remain with us today. They were here the very first day of the business. Why is that important, Matthew?
Hey, I'm a numbers guy, and the numbers don't lie. If you got a good accountant, that's what you need to make accurate forecasts, track progress, all the important things such as reviewing your tax liability and keeping all the ducks in a row. I think it's one of the most important aspects of business.
And one of the things that an accountant would make you do, and I'm going to let Renee and then Charlton's going to do what he does best, is this. It makes sure that you make no excuses for paying your payroll taxes. Doesn't matter how short you are. Doesn't matter how it may appear that you're not going to make your payroll. One of the things that my accountants instilled in me, that no matter what I do in my business, you pay those payroll taxes.
Yeah, I've had clients who fail to make the estimated quarterly payments, and it can get pretty bad quickly.
Renee?
Well, that's true. That is a high priority. I want to get back to one thing you mentioned in the introduction, that 92% of entrepreneurial projects fail. But the entrepreneurs that I know, they all have failed, many more than once. But then they get up and do it again, and eventually they succeed. So is that 92% of all starts or 92% of all people?
Startups.
Startups.
Yes,
yeah.
Startups. Very good point. Very good point.
It's probably hard to track on some level because they always say if you don't make it the first time, dust yourself off, get back up, and try again.
And I think that's probably typical of an entrepreneurial personality. If you are willing to take risks, then you have to fail sometimes.
Alex, do you know anything about failing?
I'd like to think so, yeah.
You listen to this conversation. Do you see yourself as an entrepreneur?
I do. Every day, I'm an independent contractor. I work for a brokerage firm, but every day my time is all I have. And what I produce, that's how I get paid. So I got to close deals.
You eat what you kill, as the phrase goes, right?
So to speak, yes.
Yeah.
So when you talk about entrepreneurs, Anthony, what do you think separate you and Alex and Charlton from you? Because you're a younger generation, I assume probably from 26 to 30. When we were coming along, there were so many 25 and 26-year-olds who were pursuing the entrepreneur marketplace. It was just overwhelming. But it seems as though your generation today shies away from it. They don't have the chutzpah. They don't have the stick-to-itness. They don't have the discipline. They make the sacrifice. One little blip, and they want to go back home to mom and daddy and stay home because they say it's easy living, it's free living. And that certainly is not the character and the strength of an entrepreneur. The entrepreneurs that I know would never go back home to mommy and daddy. They would never quit, no matter how many times they fail. They would have this stick-to-itness until they make that business work. And if it's not that business, they will find the business that is meant for them.
Yes, and definitely. It's the will just to keep on going. I mean, you're going to fail. I mean, probably 1% of all entrepreneurs have never failed, if that. So it's just the will just to keep on going, and that's what really separates, myself, Charlton. I call him Alpo. But that's what really just separates us just from everyone else, is that we fail, but yet we keep going. Then also just having those people around you that's going to support, because so many people aren't going to support. So many people are going to bring you down and they're just not going to believe. You just have to believe within yourself. So that's what separates any entrepreneur that is actually successful.
And you definitely have to plan these type of setbacks. Again, Anthony pointed out a great point. If you don't anticipate failing, you don't anticipate succeeding. And to really understand how realistic it is to be successful without failure is to understand that you have no idea what business really is. And when you step out into the marketplace, it's all a learning curve. So once you fail, don't just fail to fail. Always learn from your mistakes. I know it's a cliche, but it's important to do because you learn more from your failure than you do your successes. You know what I mean? So it's important to make sure that you do take heed and take notes when you are in tough situations, to know that once you're in that situation again, what are you going to do differently?
It's important to do what you enjoy. It's important to take seriously, very seriously, that which you do. And I find as an entrepreneur, Renee, is that I plan everything to the best of my ability, even though the best things that sometimes that happens to an entrepreneur, you really have nothing to do with it. But your plan and your preparedness helps you take advantage of the client that you've been looking for, the circumstances that you can turn into a cash cow. Because you've got to be very creative, you've got to be very innovative, and you've got to be bold in your risk taking. Renee?
Yes, I agree. And I also think that in some ways, at least we can make an argument for the fact that the work world, the economy in general, is becoming more entrepreneurial. Because, well, let's take media, something we know about. We're on it. Nobody is an employee. A television show or a radio show hires people for that show, and then when the show ends, everybody's gone, and they have to look for another position. It's built into the system, and I think more and more of the economy is following that model because people don't want to take on the burden of keeping a long-term employee and making that commitment to them. Is that your observation too?
That's my observation as well. I've noticed that even in something as simple as, I don't want to, lessen it, but when you think about retail, there's people who make a business from selling. For example, there's $1 million salesmen at clothing stores and stuff like that because they've taken it into their own hands and making it their own business. So it's more than them just being an employee. They have clients who they deal with on a personal level that they take care of and actually take pride in. So really understanding that having an entrepreneurial spirit within the realms of an actual business is still very, very important in this economy, especially today. Because if you can't hold your own, you won't eat.
I think we'll see more and more independent contractors as Obamacare is fully implemented, and it becomes too difficult to have full-time 40-hour employees. People will get scaled back to, let's say, 35-hour work weeks or less, or they will just be considered a independent contractor, 1099, to cut them loose and make them basically fend for themselves on the healthcare front.
The important thing for entrepreneurship is something I learned early on. The lifeblood of all entrepreneurs is cash flow. You need cash flow to buy your inventory. You need cash flow for your marketing. You need cash flow for your employees. You need cash flow for crises. The thing that I learned from my parents is that no matter how much money you make, especially out of a dollar, you always take 20 cents or $20 out of that and you always put it aside. You always leave something to grow. And you can determine the success of an entrepreneur about how well they manage their cash flow, especially when they have no cash flow to manage. And how you take care of your money will determine how well your money take care of you in the years. Because people can say what they want to say. You may enjoy what you do, you may take it seriously, but the money is sort of like a scoreboard. It's a scorecard that indicates you of your record of how well you're doing in this entrepreneurial enterprise. So while it may not be the motivation, because certainly you don't want to be in a business just for the sake of making money, but the reward is the scorecard you get because it helps you measure the progress that you're making in the business marketplace.
I was just going to say, my father calls that keeping some powder dry so that when the appropriate opportunities come around, you can pounce and take advantage of them.
And that's true not only in for-profit projects, but even in non-profit, because they operate under the same rules. And if you have an idea that isn't going to make you a lot of money, but you want to make some change in the world, and you do it in a non-profit model, you still have to do all the same things. Make sure your cash flow works, make sure you have enough clients to keep it going, enough funding sources to keep it going. It's really a question of leadership, regardless of the particular project.
Now, Alex, this is something that you can probably relate to. This is something that I feel is my gift in entrepreneurship, which has separated me. I think everybody has a gift, and I think one of the things that I could say that has separated me from others who have started this entrepreneurs class, and I would say that I'm a part of the 100%, because I'm still in the same business that I've started, and we've expanded, is that my ability to not only ask for the sale, but close the sale. It's so important that you have the ability in asking for the sale in terms you got to tell people that you're selling something of value. And in selling something of value, you must also illustrate to them, not just through rhetoric, but actions, that you can give value and grow their brand. Because especially in a tough economy, people are cutting back. And when they are very careful at what they spend their money on. And you got to separate yourself from everyone else in terms of asking for that sale. Because the other beautiful thing about our business is that 50% of the clients that we have today have been with us for the last 18 years.
Wow,
yes, right.
That's a really impressive number.
Yeah. 50%.
I think we do need to talk about this conversation in the context of the current economy. New statistics out here, I'm looking at Breitbart.com. only 47% of adults have a full-time job. This is one of the lowest labor participation rates in the last 35 years. Walmart came out and said they missed expectations. They just missed their earnings by a wide margin. And when Walmart's struggling, you know something. The middle class is really getting hit. How does this affect the perception that you guys have as young entrepreneurs?
I mean, for me, it just means more competition, and that's to be expected. So I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't mean much because you are essentially battling yourself. You want to make sure that you're better and your company's better every day, no matter what anyone else is doing. But to know that there are, maybe more experienced people trying to attract the same business, it is something that may be daunting, but the edge that we have is that we're the young, fresh minds, so we should never feel discouraged, but encourage the challenge, because at the end of the day, it's constructive competition. We are all working together to try to create this marketplace into something that it needs to be in the future and make this country a better place.
And I also believe that entrepreneurship just definitely gives you something to fall back on. I think that even if you did work at Walmart, you shouldn't go to work and just come back home and watch TV. Maybe you should go to work and come back home and find a skill, find something that is going to help you out if Walmart was to fail. You can't go along life just depending on something your whole life. I mean, if you do that, then you will be affected by what's going on in the economy. I mean, and as an entrepreneur, you will be affected because, I mean, maybe your good or your service, people can't afford that anymore. And maybe you have to lower your prices, or maybe you end up going out of business because of it, or maybe you just have to change what you do.
We're going to take a break and come back. Alex, Anthony, Charlton, of course, Renee, my main man, Matthew, on the hotline. Anthony, we're all coming back. 1-866-801-8255. We're opening up the phone line. One of the important things as an entrepreneur, you must project a business image, even if you don't have one. Sometimes you got to fake it until you make it, baby. We'll be back.
Oh, yeah.
Great job so far, guys.
What?
It's a great job so far, guys.
Yeah, yes, yeah. You got to be aggressive because he is.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to jump on, man.
You got to be at home here.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
You got to be at home. You got to jump in. So it's work.
It's millions of people's listening.
Yeah.
You got to ask for that.
This guy's a shark, too.
You got to ask for the sale.
I got you. That's right.
You got to ask for that sale.
Anthony.
Noise.
You got to ask for that sale.
That's true.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
50% are still with us 18 years later. And let me tell you, work. But then, you know what?
I hope I'm in that boat.
Take it easy, champ. Why don't you stop talking
Makes
for a
all
while?
the difference.
Maybe sit
Plus,
the
it
next
gives you
couple
such
plays
stability
out. You know
and
what I mean?
credibility when you go to other clients.
That's right.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about the food stamp cards, debit cards not working?
The EBC cards don't work?
You think it's funny? I'm serious. It happened Saturday.
I hope they'll just totally shut down and work at all, so they can really, what? They can't get food?
Post
You
the
didn't hear
number.
about this?
No, what?
Post the number.
Why would I hear
They're
about
getting massive amounts of food.
What you say, Anthony?
I said they're getting massive amounts of food. It's unlimited card.
Oh, Anthony said they're getting massive amount of foods on an unlimited card. Oh, that's what happened.
Walmart had to shut down.
They gave them unlimited
The Walmart
credit.
they were going in.
They bumped it up.
Oh, no.
We have to push the number.
Do you mind if I continue to do my radio show while you check your emails?
Riots down in Louisiana. One was in L.A. and the Walmarts.
What was this bum at LAX today?
There's never human error on this show. Oh, no.
It's all the machine's fault.
Huh?
It was a bomb. Some dry ice.
Right, that's right. Was it?
Yeah,
What's-
employee's bathroom.
Was it? Did it explode?
Yeah.
Oh, it did. Did it catch the culprit?
Nope.
Did you know which? Did you know which?
They were streaming live tonight, too.
10.
On podcast.
Why you telling me you streaming? Why are you streaming?
Because I can.
Yeah, okay.
Every now and then I can. Ah! We're back. 1-866-801-8255. Yes, our phone lines are open. It's the entrepreneur class. It's the yes.
Now I'm getting loose. Now I'm
Get
feeling
loose with us,
music.
Alex. You're getting loose. You're getting loose, but just don't bust loose.
No, we're good.
Entrepreneurs, we talk about the fun side of entrepreneurs. When you build these businesses, you create opportunities for families. You're responsible for so much of their lives. But Renee, let me tell you, to me, entrepreneurs are the ones that really are thrifty with their money. They have the discipline. They're the ones who know how to save. They're not wasteful. I know people right now who are billionaires, and they'll go to the thrift store to buy their glasses. Absolutely, $15 to $20. I've been there with them. They will not buy a new car if their life depended on it. And buying a fancy car, and now they may buy a nice watch. I know all the guys in here wearing Rolexes. You know, I'm not wearing a Rolex, but I know entrepreneurs. Yeah, Renee, they all are wearing Rolexes.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's a question of values. A billionaire who buys at the thrift shop, I don't know, that's a little troubling.
It's not a little troubling for me.
Yeah, I think so. They should leave the thrift shop for people who really need to.
Buying up all the good stuff, right, Renee?
Yeah, not excessive, not overwhelming bling, but at least something new instead of something used. But I'm interested in hearing about the talent management business, because the rest of us, we have to put up with all sorts of personalities just when we deal with regular folk. But what's it like to deal with artistes?
Well, dealing with artists is a whole nother world. I mean, you're dealing with, divas and divos, really. People with so many different personalities, people that really just depend on you to get the job done, because really their only job is to create music. And, I work with an artist by the name of David Corey, and I just look at it, a year ago, we're literally handing out CDs everywhere, make sure flyers are on people's cars, walking into radio station, and, now this time this year, last year we didn't have any major stamps, we didn't have any major backings. We really wanted to get into those good offices, and 1 year later, now we're on a 89 country tour. David signed to Coca-Cola on the FIFA World Cup tour. He's actually singing on the FIFA World Cup theme song called The World Is Ours. And, just dealing with David in a sense, David is a great guy. He's a huge talker, but, everybody has things that they can always improve upon. And that's what David likes to do. He likes to just improve on everything. But it's my job to study the market, to study his fans, to study, just to study everything, because what a fan wants to see is they want to see somebody that, they either aspire to be, or someone that they can be, or just want to be close to. And you have to be able to have that naturally, but you also need to be able to relate. So I feel like the other entrepreneurial experiences that I've had leading up to that point has helped me to study that fan base. Because it's even before talent management, when I was doing promotions and parties, to get somebody to come to your party is hard. There's so much competition out there. And I did a club that held 5,000 people, and every week we had 5,000 people, because we studied the market. We did everything that we needed to do. From all the foot marketing, going to every college campus, handing the flyers out underneath the door, finding out what that consumer likes, what that consumer wants, and even, personal appearance. Like, you have to be, even myself, a behind the scenes type of guy, I have to look the part. That's probably 50% of the battle, is just looking the part.
No, it's very important. One thing we should also, bring up is the fact that there are different components to getting the job done across industries. We were just speaking about doing the event promotion. Anthony and I did the largest college parties for 4 years running on the East Coast. And one thing that actually helped us a lot was Facebook. We were actually on the wave of Facebook right when we started, is when Facebook became big. So we're able to really capture that technology and use it in a way that actually produced great results. So always being abreast in the technology that can help you in your industry is very important.
That's right. Social media definitely applies, especially, it applies to me as well, maybe in the more form of LinkedIn format, but it's definitely important to be active on there and to be showing your accomplishments on there as well. You're
in the real estate market. How is the housing market? It seems like you have a lot of demand but little supply. Obviously, in a market like D.C., which is a government town, it's recession-proof. So if you can't do well here, you can't do well anywhere. But D.C. is unique to itself. But what does D.C. indicate about the rest of the housing market across the country? Because it tells you about how people are living. It tells you how people feel about this economy. I think the housing market is an incredible indicator of where we are as a nation in terms of an economic turnaround.
That's right. Well, obviously, I'm more involved in the commercial world, but, in speaking to the residential side, since I do live here and I have lived here and I have been looking for a place, like you said, there's not a lot of inventory in the city. Prices are pretty high. Financing is still, tough for a lot of people. So, you're seeing the city move east.
1-866-801-8255. Let's go to ATL where David is holding. David, thank you for calling. Welcome to the Entrepreneur Class Show. Talk to us.
Yes, actually, I am good friends with Alex Alperson, who's on the show right now, and I am conveniently starting my own law practice, and so I can speak to how difficult it can be to be a new entrepreneur.
Go get him, Dave.
Talk to us. Speak to us.
So, just getting out of college and then law school, jumped right into a job. I saw how successful that, being an attorney can be, and thought about doing it myself. I'm out. I left that firm, and I'm now trying to start my own practice. It can be very difficult. From a financial position, just being out of school and having loans to pay back, and then also trying, to start a law practice.
What other barriers are significant to you right now?
Gaining clients, having the ability to obtain clients.
Close the deal. Closing the deal is his challenge.
It really is, because, I was dependent on my the firm I was working for to get the clients, and now I have to go out on my own and find the clients.
That is definitely a challenge, especially being young. We don't have the gray hair, so to speak, so that can be tough.
You think you're dismissed because you're young?
No. Not completely.
Yeah.
What do you think, David?
From my perspective as an attorney, it can be very difficult. I've had experience where older attorneys have been condescending. What you have to do is prove to them that you're worthy of what you're doing, and, like you said, you have to, act like you know what you're doing sometimes when you don't actually, because that's what people need. You need to gain people's respect.
Listen, you have to, in entrepreneurship, 1-866-801-8255, you have to define what your uniqueness is. And you have to also separate yourself because so many other people are making pitches, and sometimes what you do, you send this long outline proposal which they cannot read, because most people who are busy and that you're pursuing want to read and sound bites. And sometimes what you have to do is, when you make your pitch, when I normally make a pitch for a client, if I have to speak more than 10 minutes, then I'm not deserving of the client. It's my attitude. I'm always under 10 minutes. Literally, all I need is 5 minutes of your time for the sales pitch. Obviously, as we've branded ourselves and have gained more credibility, it's very easy. But I think sometimes out of insecurity, you feel you have to say so much, and you say way too much, and you lose the person in the process.
I very much agree. I know that I've experienced that from a perspective where, early on in the game, I wanted to explain my vision and the plan and all that, and it's like, all they really need to do is trust that you got it. And that's the whole reason why they're hiring you. They don't need to know the whole A to Z, how you're going to make it happen. Just know that you can trust me. This is what I do, and my name is on it, so I'm going to make sure I get it done. So it's funny because you bring up that point. A lot of us do that. A lot of us oversell, and that's young and old. But I feel like when you're older, you have a little more, I want to say, swag about it. So you don't want to, you want to make it look like you have more knowledge, so you don't want to tell them so much. But when you're young, again, you feel like you have to tell them everything to show that you're knowledgeable. But again, to be confident in yourself and really radiate that confidence through other things like your body presence, like your appearance, and get that across in less time than it would take you to give them the entire mantra of what you're going to do.
One of the things that separated us, Renee, and others, and I see the callers, we're going to get to you. This is the entrepreneur class. In the beginning, when we were pursuing clients, our pitch was this. Said, look, we're so confident in what we can do, we will give you our services for the first 2 months free. But if we deliver beyond your imagination compared to what you've had before, you'll sign us for 2 or 3 years. This is the price. It's being far more substantial than we were asking for the beginning. But I know we gotta wow you. We gotta have that wow effect. So most clients we sign say we don't want a contract. And look, we don't need a contract, because if you're not satisfied, you just walk away from it. We don't need a contract. We're just
you get to try before you buy.
Yeah, a handshake. We're just a handshake. Rarely do we have contracts in our portfolio. We just do a handshake. And those people who signed with us 18 years ago, 50% of them are still with us, still on a handshake, and we're still wowing them almost 18 years later. And when you say to people that you're willing to make that sacrifice to work free because you're so confident in your product for 2 months, because what is 2 months? You're going to struggle for 2 or 3 months to find the client anyhow, so you just as well to brand yourself with someone that has the potential of changing the landscape of your business. So what are you losing? Sometimes you got to use a little common sense, make a little sacrifice in the short run, and in the long run, it pays great dividends. Let's go to Marvin in California. Hello, Marvin. You're on the air.
You guys, thank you for the show. I'm currently working as a mental health clinician. I just got cleared to take my exam, which is when I'll be licensed. At that point, I can become a private practicing therapist. My question is, I want to do that. I want to be an entrepreneur, but what that will mean is I'll go from working in nonprofits with youth in the community, which is where my passion is, to working in an office, maybe dealing with individuals who don't come from where I come from. In other words, it removes me from that passion of working with the community, if that makes sense.
It definitely will not remove you. You can only remove yourself. I mean, definitely as an entrepreneur myself, I mean, I've worked with nonprofits as well, and I still do in my free time. I mean, I've been to Africa and a couple other countries just by entrepreneuring. I mean, just by working with a nonprofit while I was, volunteering, while I was also entrepreneuring. So you can still do the things that, are within your passion. I mean, I still go fishing. I mean, you can't say that you can't do things.
That's why I like Anthony so much.
I mean, so you can definitely do it. It's up to you. You have to manage your time a little bit better.
What's interesting in this conversation is that as entrepreneurs, there's a lesson that I want to share, and you should remember this for the rest of your life. It is better to get a client paying you $10 and $15,000 a year instead of a client paying you $500 to $1,000 a month, because you work 20 times harder for that client paying you $500 to $1,000 a month than you will for that big client. Those smaller clients, you can never satisfy them. It's the worst thing you can do is sign somebody for that amount.
My smallest deals are often the toughest.
Yes, they're the worst. Their expectations are out of
always.
Oh, it's crazy.
So are you saying just go for the big fish only, Armstrong, and don't even, worry about the small fish in the pond?
The small fish will not only drain you, stress you out, but will try to destroy your reputation in the long run, because they feel they're getting you. They feel like they're paying you a lot of money. And listen, it's a joke. First, they don't even understand what you have to do. Right. They have no idea. Let's go to Virginia, where Dorian. I'm just passing along some of the lessons I learned along the way. If you're not paying me a certain amount of money, you can't even walk in my office. Now, I will do charity. I will give you, but I don't want you as no client. Because I'm telling you, it's a disaster. Dorian, thank you for calling in Virginia. You're on the air.
It's Dwayne. How you doing this evening?
Dwayne, how are you, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. I was on my way home from work and tuned into your show once again. And, the topic you have today is one that's close to my heart. I became an entrepreneur in my profession about 5-6 years ago, where I started my own consulting firm, my healthcare consulting firm. And, it's been a real challenge. I love what I do. But it's been a real challenge. And I heard one of the gentlemen talk about, I guess, putting in work, free of charge and so forth. And I've had to go that route several times where, I'm a small firm competing against a lot of these larger healthcare firms. And, since I don't have the capital or the advertising dollars that these larger firms have, I spend a lot of time pounding the pavement, going to healthcare conferences and trade shows and, passing out the business cards and networking and, getting on speaking panels and so forth. So I've had to go into healthcare facilities and, show them pretty much who we are, what we can do, what we're capable of, free of cost, doing free, cost-free analysis of, their processes and departments and so forth. And probably we retain about 70% contract. So, oftentimes, you got to put in that work. People will turn you away, but you can't give up. If you give up every time someone says no or close the door in your face, you'll never succeed as an entrepreneur. You just got to keep at it.
You definitely do, because you're at the end of the day, you're an artist in your craft, so you have to build your portfolio. You know what I mean? And it's practice. You want to actually have the experience of dealing with the client, and it's best to do it when they're not paying you an arm and a leg, because you're going to feel that much more responsible. They can actually sue you. But when you're learning in a situation that's not as stressful, you get that under your belt, and you're able to actually use that experience, and it's worth more than the money they might have paid you in the end.
Exactly.
Well, listen, thank you, and thank you for reiterating the importance of sometimes just giving them a couple of free months. Because listen, there's something about an entrepreneur. They know the fact that they're not paying you, that's a great sacrifice. And an entrepreneur doesn't want anything free. Not at all. And they will have empathy for you, especially if you're dealing, and it separates you from everybody else, and they will remember, if the budget does find itself, the money in the budget, they're coming straight to you. Look, my man in Virginia, thank you so much for calling. We have a lot of callers here. This is the Entrepreneur Class. Boy, time is flying by, Charlton and Renee. 1-866-801-8255. We're going to take a break and come back tomorrow by calls. Stay tuned. Learn something tonight. Grow something tonight. Be something tonight. You're an entrepreneur. Yeah, free. Give it to them for 2 months. Listen, it's worked for us 100% of the time. 100%.
Attention seniors and baby boomers. A new website has been created just for you. SocialSecurityFree.com. At SocialSecurityFree.com, we reveal a weird trick that could help you add $152,000 to your Social Security payouts. For example, did you know how you file for Social Security can dramatically change the amount of money you collect? One simple step could add up to $1,000 to your monthly payouts. And other loopholes we found reveal 33 ways for big savings on your health care. At SocialSecurityFree.com, you will also discover how you could save up to 50% on your groceries, along with 49 other...
Armstrong.
But I learned
Armstrong.
No, they don't follow up. They don't do anything.
Armstrong.
Did you call me, Anthony?
Yeah, this is your ad. Make sure you pay attention.
You could add extra money to your Social Security checks.
Okay.
That's SocialSecurityFree.com.
Yes, little lessons to learn as being an entrepreneur. Seriously, that people never ever learn. I learned. I caught on. I said, you know what? I'm just going to give this away.
You guys are clear?
Handshake. Only a handshake. All these clients, handshake. No contract.
All my stuff's free until we close
And
the
it
deal.
trust, yes.
Good stuff. My deal's probably
Renee, are we having fun?
Yeah, I had.
Yeah, you don't make sure you take it off a speaker.
Who are you talking to, Matt?
Yeah.
Where's Renee?
Yes,
We got to hear more from you, Renee.
Okay.
I'm here.
But you're enjoying the topic, right?
I'm on the topic.
You're on the topic.
That's Matt.
Matt, what are you doing?
I'm pressing the button, but it won't go off. Speaker.
What button?
You push the gray
You put it on speakerphone.
All you have to do is pick it up, and it'll go off. Just pick it up and put it to your ear.
Okay, now it's off. Does
Of
that
course.
sound better?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Renee,
Yes,
can we get into the psychology of what makes a person a good entrepreneur?
I was just going to ask that question when we come back on the air. Exactly.
Well, I'm glad
I'm gonna
great
ask
minds
what-
think alike.
I'm going to ask what you all think. Right. That's it. After all this time, we think the same way. Great minds. Yeah.
I'm flattered.
Charlton, you did well tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Oh.
Even had 2 replacements ready in case y'all messed up. It's like, no.
Okay. Charlton was an integral part of this team.
I see that.
Oh,
Beyond it.
absolutely. Absolutely. He is the man. And he always shows up. Okay? Because he knows this is a Super Bowl team here.
Oh, yeah,
and if someone does not fill their slot, we may not repeat as champions. So every player has to carry his load. Yes. You got it? We're Super Bowl.
I got it.
Oh, I know you got it.
I have no choice.
And listen, he'll tell you it's not easy working with me. I did that more than you know that you have. We got a lot of callers. A lot of people want to talk. That's good. Callers, and these are good callers. The guy who called from the healthcare.
Calls are what we live for, right?
Yeah. Oh no, look, this is what we feed on, Renee.
Yeah.
Can't believe my buddy Dave called in.
Did you know he was calling?
I had no idea.
That's good.
I was just talking to him about this last night, though, about how he's going off on his own, and it's tough.
He's having a tough time.
Well, you know, he's PI attorney, personal injury, so he's like, I gotta get all this money to, do advertising and start to build this, and he's like, I don't really want to have to rely.
And he's
on my
in
parents.
Atlanta?
Yeah.
Call the hurt line. Johnny Cochran.
5.
We're going straight to the phone lines, and then we come back to the psychology.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
Let's go to Steve in Michigan, because Flint, Michigan is about to become one of our favorite places in the country, because we just bought the WEYI NBC affiliate there, so we'll be spending much time in Flint, Michigan. We got to start doing more of that, reminding people about our television stuff. We forget. Right. Okay, Steve in Michigan, you're on the air.
Yes, how you doing today?
Fine, and thank you for calling.
All right, I'm calling because my brother and I have developed a ping pong game that we've had a patent on for about 10 years. It's a ping pong game that has revolutionized the game of ping pong, but we can't seem to get it out there and get it produced. We've submitted to some companies who said that they could submit it to different companies, to different people, and of course they just took our money. You know, $2,000 here, $4,000 there, $3,000 there, and I'm wondering. I mean, I've even thought about maybe going on the Shark Tank to try to get our product out there and get it.
You know what? Actually, you know what? We can help you with that. I've known this guy, Harry Reese, who is an inventor and who takes ideas like yours to major chains that are looking for them, and he's your broker. And I got to tell you, and he's about 12 out of 16 that we've taken to him. I mean, he's excellent. He lives in Philadelphia. Make sure you give Anthony your information, and I'll have Charlton follow up with you, because we may, and we won't even charge you. That's the good news.
Can I hear more about this product? I'm just curious how you.
Well, you shouldn't give out too much information about his product.
Okay.
Well, what?
You got the patent.
Yeah, it's a patent.
Well, like I said, we've had a patent for 10 years, and it's some sideboards that go on the ping pong table, and has 3 different surfaces, and it has each surface is a different type of material. So it goes back on the table. You can play singles, you can play doubles. I mean, it's just a wonderful game. Everybody loves it. We've taken it to the 2002 ping pong championships in Las Vegas. Oh, they loved it.
But if everybody loves it, nobody's taking it, so there's a problem.
Okay, I can't get it out there. You know.
Yeah, there's a problem.
You have to take it upon yourself to document when you do these things, because if you do it and you have no documentation, it never happened.
Well, the bottom line is there's a reason why you've not progressed beyond everybody loving it. Everybody loving it in the marketplace. So just put yourself on hold and give Anthony your information. Let's see what we can do for you, okay?
Thank you, caller.
Thank you. So Larry in California, you're on the air.
Yes, sir. Good talking to you.
Thank you for
I
calling.
recently switched to purchasing this E85 for the gasoline on my Silverado, and it seems to be doing fine. But I'm tired of the middleman. So I want to have people purchase in bulk E85, or just like the milkman, get it delivered maybe every 2 to 3 months.
He's talking about the ethanol.
Ethanol, yes.
Don't go quiet on us. We don't need dead air now. Keep talking. Please, go ahead.
Yeah, oh yeah. So I know there's a big market for it, and I run it in my Silverado. It runs fine. It's even gotten better as it's been on the market. And it comes from, they're using several different sources to make the ethanol instead of just corn. It actually has 15%.
So this is your entrepreneurial endeavor.
Oh yeah. It's a good fuel now. I was surprised when I started using it in my Silverado.
I'm just trying to figure out what progress have you made. Are you registering a complaint that no one has embraced it? Are you telling us how well is going gangbusters? What are you telling us?
No one has embraced it. No one has embraced this as far as buying it for yourself and buying and cutting out the middleman.
Are you you're dealing with the middleman, but you are marketing it?
Yes.
Okay, so what are you looking for?
I'm looking for assistance in marketing it to households.
Interesting.
So, but they have to have a car
because people
that
buy
uses
propane.
ethanol.
In the South, they buy propane and they have a big tank at the house.
Slow down just a minute. Matthew, what were you saying?
So my question is, first of all, for your product, would somebody need to have a vehicle that runs on the 15% ethanol, 85% gasoline blend?
Not necessarily, because the 2012s, they could run on either gasoline or ethanol.
Because what we're saying is essentially, if you have a small sample size for the people that can actually use your product, that also determines, the traction you're going to get, because to actually get to that small amount of people would take a lot of effort. So it's going to be very difficult, as you can see. You know, in your marketing, it's going to be a blanket marketing scheme to get to a small percentage of people because it's hard to really target that. So
well, you need a focused targeting method just to get to the people who have cars that run on ethanol.
Well, most cars can run on ethanol, and also most cars already are running on ethanol. It's most gasolines that you buy now it's 15% ethanol automatically.
Wow. See, I didn't even know that.
See, so there's also an introduction phase when there's a newer product or a product that the market is not so familiar with. You have to actually teach them why they need your product, which is actually more marketing dollars as well. So to really assess the phase in which your product is in, as well as the overall consumer knowledge, and actually create some synergy there so it can actually gain some more traction.
What's kind of the benefit versus going to the gas station?
Well, you just make them thirsty. You don't have. You can't make. You can't make a horse drink if he's not thirsty.
But what's the benefit rather than going to a gas station?
They're saving half, potentially 30 to 35% of the gas bill of running their vehicles.
That's a benefit.
And it reduces dependence on foreign oil.
Is there anything else like it in the market, though? These other synthetic gasolines
I haven't noticed none.
Okay.
I know only a factory. I'm only on companies like Department of Veteran Affairs where it just sits. People don't know that, hey, your vehicle.
Well, maybe the government should not be the route that you're taking. Maybe listen, but thank you. Obviously, you have something of value. You just got to keep pushing it, and then others will realize the value in your product. Mia in California.
It's Maya.
Maya in California.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm an inventor, and I just heard you talking to somebody else who's an inventor.
Yes.
Indeed, we were.
And I wanted to know more about the inventor. My product is for a hospital.
Said indeed.
On the prototype, and I haven't started to market it yet.
Well, congratulations. Let me just say to you for having been an innovator, at least having the gumption to move your product forward and to come up with a concept and move the concept to actually doing it. You should be congratulated on that because it's not easy.
Oh, thank you.
And that's an excellent sector of the economy with the healthcare. It's really going to take off.
Oh,
yes,
that's good to hear.
Yeah, you're on this other. Let me tell you, my man Matthew is an expert on this subject. This is his issue.
I mean, look at the health insurance stocks. They've all doubled in the last couple years. So this is a no-brainer.
Population's getting older and sicker.
Okay.
So, yeah. And now, and Maya, you raise a really good point for our conversation, because is being an inventor, having the creativity and the vision of being an inventor, the same thing as being an entrepreneur, having the same personality? What is it? Is it the same or is it different? What does it take to turn an invention into a business?
Yeah. You're asking me?
Of course.
I'm sorry. I didn't get clear on your question. Then I'm sorry.
I'm asking you and our entrepreneurs who are in the studio to consider that.
Anything that is an invention is creativity. It's using your imagination, entrepreneurship. Absolutely. I mean, the iPhone, technology is imagination. You could call that an invention. Of course, that's entrepreneurship.
Right, and you turn it into your business by simply creating a need for it, or showing other people why there is a need for it. That's when you start making it a business, because then it'll just be from something that you have to something that everybody wants.
And a lot of inventions aren't even anything like brand new. It's they're inventing a better way of doing something. So even let's take Anthony, for example. He manages talent. He's taking that talent and reinventing it into something that the marketplace will embrace. Alex in real estate, he's taking a property that's already out there and reinventing a way that someone else can use that property to benefit them. You know what I mean? So it's very important to see the creativity in everything that we do, because we're all artists and there's always a science to everything that we do. So you being an inventor.
Sorry, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that maybe, Maya, your invention can be compared to the musicians and the composers and the other talent that Anthony manages. And just like they can use a business person to help them market and turn their idea into a business, maybe that's something that an inventor also needs.
Absolutely. Maya, congratulations.
All right.
Thank you so much for calling, and stay in touch and keep us. I mean, give Anthony your information because we'd love to communicate with you because we think you're on to something that's very special. And we all need encouragement and we all need a little reinforcement because a lot of people who don't understand anything about entrepreneurship and being an inventor will laugh at you and call you a joke, and they don't know you're the next billionaire around the corner, okay? We believe in you, all right?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. All right, thank you, Maya. Let's go to Texas where Russell is holding. Hello, Russell.
Hey, how you doing, Armstrong?
Good, brother. Thank you.
Hey, well, I'm an inventor. I've been in the wireless business for about 20 years, and it took me 9 years to get my patent. I have a patent have two. One is called location-based mobile wagering system, and the other one is location-based gaming system. And the thing is, it's more an application that's used more for like regulated gaming, like your lotteries and the government and things of that nature. It allows you to do, play the lottery or sports betting based on your location, which is what most states need to raise money and things of that nature. But my thing is, I've been doing this for, been trying to plug away for the past 9 years. And flying out to Silicon Valley and things of that nature. And it almost seemed like a one-man show, really, they kind of, you can get taken advantage of. I'm just saying, how do you get with the right team of people politically? Because the way my invention is, it requires a political arm, a technology arm, and a business arm to be successful, and I'm trying to see how could you put the right team together to actually execute.
The best thing for you to do in Texas, I'm going to tell you how to really work that with legitimacy where people don't use you as their next way to pay their rent or go on their next vacation, is utilize your member of Congress, your mayor's office, or your representative, because obviously they've seen every scheme, every shyster there is, and they can actually vet and put you in touch with people who are in your industry, understand your industry, and vet what you're trying to do to give you the best analysis of how you can move forward to make your invention a reality. Go through your local representative.
But here's the thing. I've been vetted by all the big companies. I even met with several governors and lottery agents and things of that nature. So how do you get past, like the vetting part, Acacia, all the different patent trolls, all the different patent, Fisher, Fisher Richardson, all the different patent companies around the world, they haven't looked at this thing. And also, how do you get past the gorilla? Like G-Tech of the world.
Well, you have to have a linear plan of how you're going to take your concept. What is the end goal? So if you know the end goal is to get it to something like the lottery, you have to understand who that exact person is. Instead of going through all these other hoops, you have to research who exactly is the person. When I'm in a business, I know exactly who I'm trying to get to. And if I can't get to that person, I'm getting to someone close to them so I can get to that person. There's no point in jumping through 1,000 hoops and getting 1,000 people to vet it if you know it's a good idea. You just need to go to that person that can make the decision.
Right.
Russell, thank you. We wish you well. Congratulations, and thank you for calling. You asked Renee a very important question during the break, which I think we should really try to answer before we say goodbye tonight. This is really a terrific show that you put together, Charlton.
Now, I asked Renee about the psychology of entrepreneurs. What is it that she sees or can assess from her perch that makes entrepreneurs different? I don't want to say different, but what are characteristics that will make them successful?
Well, one is what we've mentioned earlier in the program, which is a thick skin. You have to be able to tolerate rejection, failure, over and over again. That's what it means to be able to. That's what we say when we say, "Oh, we can take risks." It's an adventurousness, but it's also the ability to be rejected and have doors slammed in your face and fall on your face. So that's a big part of it. A lot of people don't want to experience that more than they absolutely have to. Perseverance is another thing, keeping on going. Flexibility. If you persevere for a while and you find that you're hitting closed doors all the time, you have to pull back, reconsider, and redefine how you're going to get to your goal, or maybe even redefine your goal. You have to know when to fold as well. I think an entrepreneur is somebody who's basically optimistic, confident but not arrogant, that confidence has to be tempered with humility.
And not being obnoxious.
Not being obnoxious, and also recognizing that you don't know everything. Not having too much bravado. I think that may be successful in some industries, but not in others. And I think a good sense of humor helps you endure the slow times and the low times.
I'm completely with you on that, Renee, especially on the rejection front. That's important, but it is important not to get discouraged and bogged down with that, but instead to learn from that, better yourself, better your pitch, however that might be, and improve yourself every day, trying to move forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. And people so close to you will be the ones that's actually doing a lot of the rejection. So it's kind of like just even getting through those personal things just to make sure that you continue to move forward and just better yourself and just keep going. Don't let
1 minute.
I definitely think that purpose is a huge a part of it. You know, money can't be the only deciding factor. I myself have a brand called Aviated Thoughts, and the point of Aviated Thoughts is to give each person purpose. Everyone has an aviated thought, and to achieve it, you have to think aviated thoughts. So if you connect your passion, your ability, your drive to what you want to do in the marketplace, success is just a matter of hard work away.
I want to tell you this.
Financial Group is here to offer all your tax resolution needs.
Oh, here we go. Let me just say this.
We got 30 seconds.
Let me just say this to you. While you may talk about rejection and all the stuff about being entrepreneurship, let me tell you something. The success is just as much of a burden. Each
20.
one bring home different burdens that you must strive to overcome. But
More
I know
money, more problems.
No. More money, more people with problems. There's a difference, okay? All right. Renee, Alex, Anthony, Charlton, Anthony. Good night. Thank you for a great night. Thank you, callers.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Oh, more
Thanks,
people
Anthony.
with problems. Not more
people
money
with
problems.
problems.
But
More
more
people
people
with
with problems.
Right.
Not the money. There's more people with problems. You remember that, okay? Turn a phrase. More people with problems.
You gotta change that phrase, huh?
Yeah.
Does the show get recorded?
Yes, it's recorded right here. Is it better than what you expected? Is it better than what you expected?